All right, so let's start with the big story that we are tracking on WION this hour. Now, Pakistan is reportedly deploying its army in Lahore in view of the opposition PTI party's call to hold a protest in the city. Now, the local Punjab government has requested the deployment amidst the rising concerns over the security of the critical buildings. The Punjab government had sought the army's deployment in at least 6 districts of the province. The Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf had stated that it will hold its protest rally at Lahore's iconic Minar-e-Pakistan. The army deployment in Lahore follows a similar deployment of the armed forces in Islamabad. The earlier authorities in Lahore had sealed off all roads leading to Minar-e-Pakistan, placing shipping containers at key access points and cutting off routes around the area. The PTI had selected 6 alternative locations across Lahore for the demonstrations, including the Data Darbar, Ravi Bridge and the railway station. Now, earlier on Friday, the federal government called in the army troops in Islamabad ahead of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit and several high-profile visits that are slated for later this month in the wake of the protest calls given by Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. The decision to call in the army has come on the heels of a complete lockdown of the twin cities because of the PTI's planned protests at D-Chowk, right in front of the parliament in the red zone, with the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Chief Minister Ali Amin Gandapur vowing to reach there at any cost. And WION's Pakistan Bureau Chief, who's been tracking this story very closely for us, has sent us this report from the ground. Take a look.
Well, we're at D-Chowk and the protesters have now charged in. It won't be wrong to say the shelling has intensified. It's becoming very difficult to breathe or even stand over here. If my camera person can show you, they're just a few meters away. This barricade behind me is the D-Chowk where I'm standing, and if my camera person can just turn around, we'll walk towards the police personnel. And what you see, those flames that have been put on fire, that fire that has been there, it's primarily because to negate the impact of the ceasefire of the tear gas shell as it's being fired. The situation still remains a bit intense, primarily because there's still fog on whether Chief Minister of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Ali Amin Gandapur has been arrested or not. But what we can confirm is that the KPK house, the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa house in Islamabad, has indeed been sealed. Anas Malik in Islamabad, Pakistan for WION World is One.
All right, now Anas Malik is joining us live on this broadcast. Anas, if you can hear me, tell us what the situation is like at this moment. Have things calmed down a bit?
Well, they haven't calmed down. What you can assess is that the protesters they continue to sort of outnumber the law enforcement officials. The numbers, they continue to grow and grow by the hour. It won't be wrong to say. The protesters were earlier about 8 kilometers from the D-Chowk. Then they proceeded to charge onwards. That was about, and the distance was reduced to about 6 kilometers. There came a point when they were just 100 meters away. They've been slightly pushed back, just slightly pushed back to the point that the paramilitary rangers had to be called in. And now currently they are in charge of the D-Chowk part. The protesters continue to remain at the China Chowk, which is not far from the D-Chowk. That's about less than a kilometer, and that's where the intense clash is currently between the PTI protesters and the administration. Both that includes the paramilitary forces and the Islamabad administration. They continue to rage on. There's heavy use of shelling, the tear gas shells that is there, both long range and short range. Additionally, we're seeing the increased use of rubber bullets being done on the part of the protesters. We're seeing that the administration continues to allege that there have been bullets that have been fired. That is a claim that has not been independently verified as we speak. That being said, what we also know is that, and what we can confirm, that the protesters indeed continue to pelt stone towards the police officials, as the reason of which the shelling being done on the part of the police and other administration officials, that intensifies.
All right, and also to talk a little bit about the politics behind these protests. Why is the PTI holding these protests? Is there a message that it actually wants to send across to the administration?
That's a $1 million question. The why for the PTI protest, it's a $1 million question. There's still no clarity as to what really the PTI wants. All it wants is to do this show of power, but for what? That is a $1 million question. The answer to that is still not known. 24, 36 hours on, the literal siege on Islamabad is currently going on, and yet we still have no clarity on as to how to proceed forward, as to what exactly the PTI wants. The Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Chief Minister, Ali Amin Khan Gandapur, the party made claim that he had been arrested. In fact, Islamabad Police's Inspector General Ali Nasir Rizvi, he also confirmed that the Chief Minister of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa had been arrested. But then came in news that he was not arrested. So there's still a lot of war, there's still not clarity, and we still do not know as to how to proceed forward. Even now I can hear in distance that time and again there would be shells that would be fired, and the protesters, they continue to charge in. The police tend to repel the attack back, and this has been going on for a good 36 hours now. Saleh?
We're also considering that the SEO summit is to take place in about another 10 days time from now. Is this an attempt to try and get some international attention by the supporters of the PTI party?
Well, the SCO heads of governments is definitely scheduled to take place on the 15th and 16th. And even before that, the Chinese Prime Minister Li Qiang is supposed to arrive here on a bilateral visit on the 14th of October. So there has been a lot of critique that has been done on Imran Khan and his party by the government that 10 years back, when the Chinese President Xi was supposed to visit Islamabad, Imran Khan had his 126-day long sit-in Islamabad that led to the visit of the then Chinese President Xi being postponed for some time. So there is a lot of critique as to the timing of this protest. But as I said, on the part of PTI, there is still no clarity as to what they really want. On the part of the government, they have called in the military to make sure that, quote, things don't go out of hand and remain peaceful, unquote. That's what the official orders say. Saleh?
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Anas Malik, for joining us and getting us all those updates there. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.